All right. So come to a nice, comfortable seated position on your mat. Sit up nice and tall. You can close your eyes. And start to pull your lower core in. Maybe that makes you feel like you're sitting up a little bit taller, and then relax those shoulders a little bit more down your back. Keep your head in a neutral position. And your sit bones grounding down into the floor. And then allowing that breath to deepen in and out. And as that breath starts to deepen, allow the thoughts to just come and go. But know that this morning, this next hour is just for you. For you to move, meditate, breathe, whatever your intention is for this morning. You can keep your eyes closed here, or you can gently open your eyes. We're just going to open up our neck and our shoulders while we continue sitting. Keeping that core engaged still, sitting up tall. Take your chin down towards your chest. And then gently just taking that right ear over towards your right shoulder. Allowing this whole left side of your neck to start opening up. Relaxing that left shoulder down towards the mat. And if you want to here, you can take your right hand and just place it on your head. You don't want to really extend that stretch by adding pressure, but just placing the hand there, allowing yourself to get a little bit more of a stretch. And then releasing that hand off of your head, take your gaze just gently up towards the ceiling. Notice how you open up different muscles in your neck. Still dropping that right ear down towards the right shoulder and just gently lifting the chin up towards the ceiling. Take the chin down towards the chest, opening up the back of the neck. And gently roll that chin back to center. Drop the left ear over towards your left shoulder. Relax that right arm. Same thing here. If you want to, you can place that hand, that left hand, onto the right side of your head, maybe adding a little bit more of a stretch. There's no pressure here in that hand, you're just placing it there. And then releasing that hand back down, gently lifting the chin up towards the ceiling, stretching out different muscles. Taking the chin down towards the chest, stretching out the back of that shoulder. And bringing the chin back to neutral. Roll your shoulders either direction. Just notice how your body feels, how much space you just added to your neck and your shoulders. We're going to come right out into a tabletop position on our mat. Taking the hands just underneath of your shoulders, your knees underneath of your waist. Pull those lower ribs in so that you have a little bit of a rounding out into your lower back. This helps engage your core. And we're just going to open up our wrist here. So we just opened up our neck. Now we're going to do a few wrist drills. So I want you to take those fingertips, if you can, back towards your knees. And the whole palm does not have to meet down at the mat here. Eventually it will, but you're just trying to stretch out the fronts of those forearms. And then you can take the fingertips out to the side edges of your mat. And you can bend those elbows a little bit. It feels a little funky, but opening up those wrists, opening up your forearms. And then you can place the backs of the hands onto the mat. Same thing, opens up the wrists. And I like to make fists, balling my hands together, or my fingers together if I can, and then flexing them out. And then bringing your hands back down onto the mat in a neutral position. You can always shake one out, shake the other out. It's nice to get a little bit of wrist opening, forearm opening, shoulder opening, because even in our downward facing dogs and our chaturangas, our hands get a lot of weight and pressure in them. So then going back into your tabletop position, I want you to start leaning forward, shifting your weight forward, keeping your arms straight. Keep that core tucked in, that lower back rounded, and then exhale, shift the weight back. We're just going to do that 3 times. Ground down into those hands, point your finger and thumb, lean forward, going past your hands a little bit. If you notice, this is how we balance in crow. We're slightly forward and into our hands and our forearms. So just go forward just as much as you can. And come back. And on that last one, just rock into a neutral tabletop position. Take the balls of the feet down onto the mat. Lift your hips up. Drop those heels back. Come into your first downward facing dog. And since it's our first downward facing dog, go ahead, rock side to side. Maybe pedal the knees a little bit. And I've been saying this in the past couple of recorded classes or live classes. Really, this is your practice. If there's anything extra that you want to add at any point during this class, you are welcome to. You know your body, you know what your body needs. And if there's anything that you don't want to do or you're not interested in doing, you can always watch or take a child's pose. Take a little hip rock side to side, stretch out that side body. And then roll up onto the balls of the feet, bend those knees as if you're taking your ribs or your chest back towards your thighs, and then exhale, straighten those legs, heels go back down towards the back edge of the mat. And we'll do that again, bend those knees up onto the balls of your feet, shift the chest and your rib cage down towards your thighs, and then straighten those legs, take the heels back. One more time here, bend into those knees, Chest ribs down towards your thighs, and then straighten the legs. We're going to make our way up to a standing position, but we're going to go very slowly here. And I want you to pick up each leg very slowly as if you're plugging it in towards your hip. So you're pressing into your hands, you're lifting that right foot up and just taking a little step forward. Lift that left leg up, straight leg, move it forward. So you're going to notice as you keep doing this, you're going to keep pressing into your hands, lift that right foot up, left foot up, keep pressing into your hands. Slowly walk those feet forward, keep pressing into your hands. Walk them all the way forward, take them hip width apart. Once they come to your hands, grab onto opposite elbows. Let your whole upper body hang out in a rag. Shake your head side to side. Again, release that neck, release your shoulders. Round down into both feet. Inhale, slowly make your way all the way up. Your arms can reach up as you stand. As you can't see me very well. Reach up as you stand. Then exhale, take those hands down. Now we're going to make big circles with our hands here. Keep grounding down and out into your feet. Inhale, reach those arms up. Reach them up, up, up as if you're extending, and then open up those shoulders, reach them back. Big circle, go back. Keep that core pulled in. Open up those shoulders. Big circle. Do that 2 more times. I'm going to add some light here this morning so that you can see me better. Sorry, first time in the studio. And exhale, shake out those arms. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, take and fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold, take the hands to the mat to step those feet back into a downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog here, ground down into that left foot. Take the right foot up towards the ceiling. Bend into that right knee, open up that right hip, lift the right knee up towards the ceiling, and then ground down into that right hand, and maybe you can take the left forearm down into the mat a little bit. Inhale, press into those hands, come back into your three-legged dog, reach that right foot up, keep that right foot flexed, then bend the knee, bring that knee over towards your right tricep. And then kick it back up, three-legged dog. And exhale, bend that knee, bring it to your right tricep. And back. Last one, round out your back, bring that knee in close, step that right foot forward towards your right thumb. Wiggle those toes forward towards the front edge of the mat. Give a nice lunging stretch here. Rounding down into that right foot, then straighten that right leg. You can still be up on the ball of that left foot. Reach through the top of your head, melt the chest down towards your right leg. Inhale, come back into a bend into that right knee, lunge. Round down into that right foot, straighten. Same thing, that ball of that left foot, we're on the ball of the left foot. Lengthen through the top of your head, fold it out. So we're just stretching into this outside of our right hip and our right hamstring body here. Bend into that right knee. One more time, straighten through that right leg. Lengthen through the top of your head, take the chest down toward your right. Ground down into that right hand on the outside of your right foot. Move to the whole left foot. So taking that whole left foot down to the mat, outside of the foot, parallel to the short edge of the mat. We're just going to fly here a little bit. So ground down into that right hand. Open up that left hand as you start to move that right foot over to the left side of your mat. I know it's hard for you to see me. I'm on the opposite side. Exhale, roll back over, left hand down to the mat. Move back into your downward facing dog. We'll try that again on the left side. You'll be able to see me better. So go ahead and wrap those shoulder blades. I want you to bend the elbows a little bit. Take the elbows back towards the back edge of the mat. Straighten through those arms again. Gaze back towards your thighs. Taking the left leg up this time. Ground down into your right foot. Take the left leg up. Bend into that left knee. Reach the left knee up. Maybe you move down onto your right forearm as you lift that knee up. Press down into that left hand, straighten through your right, back into your three-legged dog. Bending into that left knee, taking the left knee over to the left tricep, and back into your down dog. Lift. 2 more times, bend, and lift. 1 more, bend. Knee to the tricep, step that left foot forward, coming into your lunge. Hands on either side of that left foot. Sinking into your lunge, finding space here. And then straightening through that left leg, reaching through the top of the head, taking the chest over the left. Same thing, we're still up onto the ball of that right foot. This is just extended pyramid pose. And then bend again into that left knee. Lunge. And straighten, press through that left foot. Engage your core, lengthen through the top of your head. Really plug that left hip back into your hip socket. So taking that right hip forward, left hip back. You'll feel the strength there. And inhale, bend. 1 more time here, straighten and fold. Pyramid pose. We're going to add in that falling triangle pose again on this side. So the left hand goes down onto the mat. You move over so that the right foot is down onto the mat. And then we start to wiggle that left leg through as we open up the right hand. Looks something funky like this. Fallen triangle is what this pose is called. We'll work on it again, I promise. Lift that left leg up, move the right hand back down onto the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Bring the knees down to the back mat, coming into your tabletop. And then taking the sit bones down towards the heels, reach your hands out. Child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Shake your hips side to side. Notice the space in your lower back. Ground down into those hands. Inhale, roll back up into your tabletop. Connect again with that core. As you roll forward, lean into your hands. Your knees are still down onto the mat. We're going to slowly go down into a chaturanga. So slowly work your chest down towards the mat until you're lying down onto the mat. Take your fingertips off of your mat a little bit and bring them out to the sides. So your elbows are still up. Fingertips are out to the sides. You can use your whole hand on the mat here, or you can just take the fingertips. Your legs are active, the tops of the feet are active onto the mat, and you're just opening up your chest here. Press into those fingertips, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Do that one more time. Ground down into those fingertips, lift your chest up, squeeze your chest and your back as you press. And exhale, lower down. Take the hands back towards your feet. Here, we're just going to lift our upper body up. So the legs are going to stay active on the mat. They're going to stay down onto the mat. Ground down to the tops of the feet. Feel your core engaging. Just reach those hands back towards your feet as you lift your chest up. And exhale, lower down. Take a little pillow with your hand. Take a rest. Shake those hips side to side. We're going to do that one more time, just strengthening these muscles in our lower back. Take those hands back behind you, but this time we're going to lift both the feet and the chest up. So reach those hands back, squeeze those scapulas together as you reach through your toes. Open up your chest, reach up, lift those legs. And exhale, lower down. Make another pillow with your hands. Shake your hips side to side. Take the hands down onto the mat, lift yourself up and back into your child's pose once again. This time, inhaling, rolling up so that the forearms stay onto the mat. So just rolling up into this low tabletop position here. Grounding the hands down into the mat. And then wrapping those shoulders back again. So in order to wrap those shoulders, why don't you bring the shoulders in toward your ears as if you're shrugging in this position. And then take those shoulders away, wrap those triceps back towards your knees. Look at that space there. Your head has plenty of room to move. And then just look at your elbows. Make sure those elbows are underneath of your shoulders. Your hands are planted into the mat. And we're just going to lift those hips up. This is dolphin pose. To help strengthen those shoulders, you can relax your head here as well. Just think of this more as a shoulder strengthening pose and a shoulder opening pose. You can walk those feet in a little bit, just a touch. Pull the core in, keep pressing those triceps back toward your toes. Relax your head. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And exhale, lower down. Knees to the mat. Straighten those arms out, relax the shoulders. Ground down into those hands. Inhale, come back up, low tabletop, forearms onto the mat. From here, lift those hips up again. And this time, press more into that right hand, see if you can't straighten that right arm. And then straighten the left, come into a down dog. Back into our downward facing dog here. See if you can't wrap those shoulders, keep those shoulders strong, just like you did in your forearm stand. So take and bend those elbows out to the side, scoop the elbows back toward your toes, and then straighten those arms. Lift that right foot up again, up high towards the sky, flex the heel, pull those toes back towards your knees, and round out your back, bring the knee in close, crunch it in, and step that right foot forward towards the hands. Take that back foot, left foot down into the mat. Ground down and out into both feet. Connect with your core. We're going to windmill that left arm all the way up to come into warrior 2. Warrior 2, reaching through those fingertips, strong arms. And keep these legs active and grounded. Right foot starts pressing forward onto the mat. Left foot starts pressing back. Arms are out. Core is lifting. You're lifting up through that lower belly, tucking those ribs in. And now we're just going to add a little arm variation. So reach those hands up towards the ceiling. Grab onto opposite elbows. And take it back to a reverse warrior here. Come back to center and switch directions. Lean it forward over top of that right leg. Inhale, come back up. Open up those arms, warrior two. On your exhale, windmill those hands down around that right foot. Ground down into your hands, step the right foot back. Downward facing dog. Switching sides, ground down into your right foot, lift your left leg up. Lift your left leg up nice and high, pull those toes towards your midline, towards your knee. And then bring that knee in close toward your chest. Step the left foot forward towards your hands, move over onto the right foot. Connect with your core, windmill those hands up. Warrior two. Beautiful. Same thing here, connect with those legs. Reach your arms up. Take and grab onto opposite elbows. I know this feels a little weird, like there might not be enough room for your head. Take it back, reverse warrior. And bring it forward over that left leg. Keep that core engaged, keep that core active. Inhale, come back. Exhale, open those arms back into your warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down around that front foot. Press into those hands, round out your back, pick the left foot up. Move it back. Downward facing dog. From here in your downward facing dog, we're going to walk those feet forward towards our hands the same way we did when we started. So I want you to really ground down into your hands. Pick that left or the right foot up first. Move it forward. Keep grounding down into your hands. Pick the left foot up. Move it forward. Keep grounding. Legs are straight. They're just walking slowly towards your hands. And you are using your lower core here to lift those legs up. You're pressing into your hands and moving it forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, folding close. Ground down into both legs. Shake yourself side to side. Relax the upper body. Now, all of these poses here are building and strengthening in our handstands, in our headstands, in our crow poses. These are all focusing on the shoulder strength, this upper body strength, and that connection with our core. Move your whole upper body over to that right leg and exhale, let it fall on the side. And pick that upper body up, move it over to the left leg and let it fall. Let your head fall, your neck relax. And move it back. Drop the hands heavy. Slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Head comes up last. Reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Heel toe those feet back together, top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step those feet back, come into your high plank, but let's exaggerate that high plank, rounding down into your hands, pulling that lower belly in, rounding out your upper back as you press the ground away. And then sink the chest down towards the mat, do the complete opposite motion. And then round it up, puff up that back. Good. And again, arms are straight, chest drops, and then round it up. Harder than you think. Up. One more time, puff, go down, and round it up. And now we're going to lower down nice and slowly into our chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lower it back down onto your knees. And come up into a seat. Good. So we're going to work on a little bit of headstand prep here. Just a little bit of headstand prep. So I know that some of you can do a headstand, and I don't want you to do one yet. I'll tell you when you can do one, okay? We're just going to work on keeping that core strength and keeping that tricep strength and shoulder strength. So even if you don't do a headstand in your practice, that's fine. This is just to strengthen these arms. So take and grab onto opposite elbows, place them down onto the mat. Bring your hands out in front, interlace your fingers, and make that space for your head. So your head can either go in your hands here, which if you do a headstand on a regular basis, I think head in the hands is fine. And if you move that head into your hands, you know where to put it. About the crown of your head is down onto the mat. If you're not going to put your head in your hands, just keep it up above the floor. So it's the same concept with these shoulders. You can go ahead and shrug your shoulders here. We want those shoulders away from the ears, so taking those triceps back down towards your knees. When you're ready, placing your head in your hands. You can shrug your shoulders again, just so you know what that space feels like, and then take the shoulders away. And then lifting your hips up here. So lifting your hips up as much as you can, and either walking those feet forward as far as you can so that you're up on your tippy toes. Pull that core in, take those triceps back towards the back edge of the mat. Create that space, hold here. Hold, hold, hold. If your head's above the mat, that's fine, just hold it here. Keep holding cores active, take those triceps away. Push them away. Push, push, push. And exhale, lower down. Child's pose, head stays on the floor. Beautiful, taking your hands back down onto the mat. Keep your nose towards the floor. And then imagine that you're just pushing your nose against the floor as you peel up. It's going to feel weird. So just lift yourself up, keep that nose on the floor, rubbing across your yoga mat, and come all the way up. To here. I don't really know what this stance is called. But prep, camel prep here. So since we just used the core, we're going to open up that core from our headstand. So just taking a little bit of camel prep here. Camel pose was requested this morning. So next week, everyone think of a request if you don't like this pose. So take the hands just to the bottom of the back here. And you're going to shift your hips forward. And if your mat is like mine and a little thin, you can always double up the mat underneath of your knees. Take those fists or those thumbs right into your lower back. And if you feel anything in your lower back here, I want you just to stay in this space and focus on that lower back. Focus on opening up the chest here, hips forward, chest opens, hips forward, and just do this to a point of stretch and come all the way back up. If you like camel pose and you want to go back into that full expression of camel pose, you can either take the balls of the feet onto the mat to make those heels closer, or you can keep the tops of the feet on the mat, shift those hips forward, make your way down to camel. In our camel pose, the whole front side of the body is opening, hip flexors, quads, core, everything that we were just using and strengthening in our headstand. So I'm going to give you a couple more tries here. If you just want to focus on opening up that chest and that lower back, keep the hands on the waist, just start here. If you want to go into the full expression a few times, hold for 5 breaths, come up and go back into it. The main focus is hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. Think about every little vertebrae starting to open as you open up your chest. Beautiful. Don't worry, we're going to have plenty of time to stretch out these backs towards the end of class. Whenever you're finished that last round, come back into that child's pose again. Knees out wide, hands go forward towards the front edge of the mat. We do child's pose here to just really release that lower portion of your back and your spine. And then one more time here, let's go into that headstand prep. Or if you have a headstand in your practice, you can go up into a headstand. Again, if you prefer to just hang out in a child's pose, go ahead and hang out in a child's pose. But if a headstand feels good for you this morning, go ahead and refocus on keeping that core and keeping those triceps back towards your toes. And try to see if you can't lift those hips up. Walk those toes in till you're on your tippy toes. Bend one knee and maybe the other. And then lift yourself up. Keeping those triceps back towards the back edge of the mat. Keep them back. And if you're in your headstand and you feel solid in those elbows and those arms, in those triceps, go ahead and take those legs wide. And if you take your legs wide, feel like you have bowling balls on your toes. Check back in with those triceps, that core. Bring those legs back together. And you exit the same way you came in. Keep the head on the mat, just roll back to your forehead and into your child's pose. And take a few breaths here. This helps I think of it as it just lets the dust settle in our head and in the back of our neck. And then place your hands right around your ears. Lift yourself up and back into your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, step those feet forward, come back into a seat. Take the legs out straight in front of you for a forward fold. Fold down towards those feet. Ankles, shins, toes, whatever feels good. Lengthen through the top of your head, your chest. Lead with your chest as you fold forward. Inhale, roll all the way up slowly. Take an exhale. We're going to open up our hip flexors a little bit more, but in a way that you probably don't think of as a hip opening stretch. But we're going to take that right foot in, place the right sole of the foot down onto the mat, and make sure that heel is past your sit bone. So there's plenty of space here. It's past your sit bone. I want you to take both hands to the inside of that right knee. And most of you do this pose and bind your hands in this pose, but I want you to think about this whole hip here stretching. So keep your knee up towards the ceiling, keep that right foot planted down into the mat. So you're pressing as hard as you can into that right foot, and then feel this upper body sitting up. Pull that core in, sit up tall, keep pressing down into your right foot. Feel that string on the top of your head lifting you up a little bit higher as you ground down into your right foot. And then let's fold forward from here, just holding onto our left foot. Keep pressing into that right foot. Press, press, press. Knees up towards the ceiling. Find that length in your spine. Lengthen through the top of your head as you start to fold. Fold. Keep that foot grounded down into the mat, even the toes, even the pinky toes, pressing into the mat on that right foot. And inhale, come all the way back up. Bring that knee in toward your chest. Shake that foot around a little bit in either direction. And take the leg out straight. Notice that strength right there in that psoas, right in your inner thigh, but also in the outer part of your hip, and even your QL muscle in your lower back starts working when you just focus on the little steps of this pose. So switching to your left side, place the left foot down onto your mat. Take that heel to the outside of your left sit bone, grounding down into that left foot, pressing that left foot, keeping the knee up towards the ceiling. This whole leg is working to press down. Take both arms to the inside of that left foot. You're still flexing through your right foot. Sit up tall, find that space, grounding down, lifting up through the upper body. And then take it forward, reach towards that right foot. Lengthen through that upper body, press down into that left foot, press. Keep lengthening, keep finding that expansion in your upper body, in your lower back. All while grounding down into this left foot. This is oppositional force in our poses. Grounding down, finding length, finding space. And inhale all the way back. And release. Hold on to that left leg. Shake that foot back and forth, side to side. And release. This time, both legs like a windshield wiper. Bring those legs in. We're going to roll out onto our mat. Clear all of that energy out by doing a chaturanga. An upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to stretch out those hips a little bit. Rock yourself forward into a high plank. Lower down slowly so that you're on your stomach. Good. So we're on our stomachs. I want you to take your hands out and place the left cheek onto the mat. And we're going to take and lift that right foot towards our right sit bone. Giving a little stretch into our quad. You
can reach back with your right hand if you want to and stretch a little bit more. Take the hand back out onto the mat or the floor. And we're going to lift that right hip up and take those toes over towards your left hand. They don't have to touch your left hand. They can just come back onto the floor. We're just opening up this right hip. If you keep both hands on the mat, you'll still feel a stretch in the right side of this front body. But you can always take the hand back, reach that right foot. This also opens up the left shoulder. So make this pose what you want it. And then bring that right knee back. And keep that right knee bent and bring it out onto the floor. So right knee is bent. Bring it as high as you can toward your right elbow, but the knee lands on the floor so the inner thigh is on the floor. And this doesn't really feel like much of a stretch. It does stretch into your inner thigh, but I want you to think more, relax this area of your lower back. Relax those legs, relax the glutes, relax the lower back. And then taking that right leg back down onto the mat to meet the left. And we're going to switch sides here. You can take your right cheek towards the mat, but I'm still going to face the microphone just so you can hear me. But bend into that left foot or left knee. Take the left heel towards your left sit bone. Reach back. Maybe give a little quad stretch. We used those quads more than you think today. Practicing core stuff definitely gets into our thigh muscles, our quads. And even though some of you know how to do a headstand, breaking down headstand and core positioning, still there's always strength to be had there. To release that left leg, we're going to roll it over to the right side. So open up the left side of the body, take those left toes towards your right hand or down to the mat. Then bring yourself back. We're going to take that left knee down onto the mat so the inner thigh is down onto the mat. Same thing that we did with that right leg. You can lift that knee up as high towards your left elbow as it'll go. But then same thing, we like to over-engage our lower body sometimes in these stretches. I want you to just let it go. Let the lower back go, let those hips go, the glutes relax. Then release. Take that left leg back to meet the right. Take those hands, fingertips just down towards your front of your shoulders. Press into your hands, lift that upper body up, upward facing dog. Elbows can stay bent a little bit. And back into your downward facing dog. And step those feet forward towards your hands. Come all the way through to lie down onto your back. Bring the knees in towards your chest. We're going to give a few more slow stretches here for that lower back, glutes, thighs. I want you to lift those toes up towards the ceiling. Take that right ankle, bring it on top of your left thigh for a figure four. You can either keep this leg straight here, or you can bend the knee, or you can have the foot on the mat. Either way, let's thread our hands through to wrap those hands around the left thigh or left hamstrings. And then just relax that left foot. So here, whatever kind of stretch you want to work on here, you can lift that upper body up and crunch it in really, really close. Or you could just keep that upper body relaxed and use your arm strength to bring that knee a little bit closer to your chest. Whatever feels good. And then bring that leg off of your left leg, reach those toes back up towards the ceiling. And we're going to switch sides here, taking the left ankle on top of your right thigh. And every side is different, so take your time getting into the side. Notice what is different from each side. And then wrap those hands through, wrap them around those right hamstrings, and relax that right leg. Same thing here, if you want to crunch it all the way in close. Or if you want to relax. And just use some strength in those arms to open up that left IT band, left sciatic nerve, that whole area, all of those muscles that hold on to your hip, the outside of your hip. Doing any kind of increase in our sitting on a daily basis, or even an increase in our standing, really wears on these lower back muscles. Kind of doing anything out of your normal routine or what your body is used to. The lower back and hips feel it more than the rest of our body. Whenever you're ready here, release that leg, take the left leg back up to meet the right. One more lower back stretch here, take the soles of the feet together, the knees out to the sides. And I want you to take your hands and grab towards the outsides of those feet. The soles of the feet are still together, but you're holding on to the pinky toe edge side of the foot. And then just bring those feet in towards your chest or your lower belly, but I want you to think about opening up those inner thighs, so taking the knees away from your shoulders. All while pulling those legs in and while keeping that back flat on the mat.
And you can even press the lower back down towards the mat, opening up that sacrum area in your lower back. Maybe pulling the core in, pulling up on that lower belly. And exhale, release. Knees come back into your chest. Close your eyes for a moment. Check in. And think, is there anything that my body needs before Shavasana? Before you close out this practice this morning. And then whenever you're ready, slowly either going into that last pose that your body feels that it needs, or just relaxing those legs out into a Shavasana. And if we're going into a Shavasana, I want you to flex that right foot or take those toes towards your right knee. And then just press through that right heel, taking that right hip down a little bit. Keep that right foot flexed, flex into your left foot. And take that left heel, press it down. Feel those hips evening out. Keep pulling those toes back towards your knees. And then relax those legs. Let it go. You might notice that your shoulders have moved up closer toward your ears. So let's take and reach that right hand down towards your right foot. Tuck that shoulder blade underneath your back. And then relax that right hand and arm down to the floor. Same thing on that left side. Reach that hand down towards your left foot. Scoop that shoulder blade underneath of your back. And then relax your hand. Relax your forearm, your elbows. And then shake your head side to side gently. Allow your head and your shoulders, your facial muscles. Allow all of that to relax and let go. Your breath comes back to a natural state of breathing. Just allow yourself to be here for a few moments. And slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing some life back into your body. Bringing your knees back into your chest. Rocking over to your right side. And whenever you're ready, making your way up to a seat. Bringing your hands to heart center. Taking a second of gratitude. We'll close out this practice this morning with a word that means the light in me honors the light in you, as the light in you honors the light in me. Namaste. Thanks for doing the hard stuff with me today. Wasn't planning on turning it into a headstand practice, but
No, that was sneaky.
have a good weekend, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.